Doc Rich, back at it again, baby. And this is another gentleman that a lot of you guys told me to check out after I checked out Jordan for the first time and was absolutely fascinated by the gentleman. I'll never forget that first video, you know, watching him just be so calm and collected the entire time. It was just amazing. But anyway, so we got Thomas Sowell with the truth about Black Americans being stolen from Africa. I think I know where this may go because I have heard some stories about the actual truth, but we'll dive right on into it. There's some other gentlemen that I know one of you had posted about it before. I pulled it up really quick before the video. You guys can let me know if you want me to check some of these guys out. Obviously, Thomas Sowell. Hopefully, I'm saying these guys' names correctly. I apologize if I am not. Shout out to Kevin, too, by the way, for giving me this list. Richard Dawkins. Carl Sagan. Obviously, Jordan Peterson, we've already checked out and we'll continue to check out. Mike Rowe. James Randi. Christopher Hitchens. Brian Cox. Brian Dunning. I know who Ben Shapiro is. And then Ben Goldacre. Let me know if any of those guys are, you know, some gentlemen you would like me to check out on the channel. Like I said, I saw that list. I was like, oh, wow, okay. So it's a pretty long list, and I've only heard of, you know, one of those guys, well, except for Jordan Peterson. So yeah, let me know in the comment section below. Let's go ahead and jump right onto this video. Let's check it out. See what we got here.
The form in which the story of slavery has reached most people today has been along the lines of the best.
Also, another thing with these videos, you know, like them, love them, hate them, agree with them, or disagree with them. I think they're important to be broadcasted. And even before checking out Jordan Peterson or any video like that, you can go back to my older videos, right? So like, they're still on the channel. I couldn't tell you exactly, you know, which video or whatever. I've made so many videos at this point. But I've always stated, like, even if I disagree with something, I want to hear the other person's opinion. I want to hear what they have to say because maybe I'm wrong, you know, and I try to state that, you know, whenever I think about it, because I want people to know, like, I don't think that I'm on some type of high horse and I have all the information and I got it all figured out, because I don't, you know what I mean? I don't. You know, even if I state an opinion on something, I understand that I could be totally wrong. I could be totally wrong. And I accept that, you know. So with these types of videos, because I know people can get super offended, you know what I mean? I'm not above being wrong. I should say that. I could be wrong with anything that I say in any one of these videos, all right? But anyway, let's get right on into it.
Selling book and widely watched television miniseries Roots by Alex Haley. Challenged on the historical accuracy of Roots, Haley said, "I tried to give my people a myth to live by. Contrary to the myths to live by, created by Alex Haley and others, Africans were by no means the innocents portrayed in Roots, baffled as to why white men were coming in and taking their people away in chains. On the contrary, the region of West Africa from which Kunta Kinte supposedly came was one of the great slave trading regions of the continent, before, during, and after the white man arrived. It was Africans who enslaved their fellow Africans, selling some of these slaves to Europeans or to Arabs and keeping others for themselves. Even at the peak of the Atlantic slave trade, Africans retained more slaves for themselves than they sent to the Western Hemisphere. This pattern was not confined to West Africa, from which most slaves were sent to the Western Hemisphere. In East Africa, the Maasai were feared slave raiders, and other African tribes, either alone or in conjunction with Arabs, enslaved their more vulnerable neighbors. As late as 1891, it was reported that Manyuema slavers had demoralized surrounding tribes, destroying crops, and famine reigned everywhere. Even in the early 20th century, Abyssinians were still raiding other Africans and carrying off slaves. It was 1922 before the British had gained sufficient control in Tanganyika to stamp out slavery there. Arabs were the leading slave raiders in East Africa, ranging over an area larger than all of Europe. The total number of slaves...
Wow. You know, and like I said, I've heard stories about the actual truth and how slaves were actually sold and shipped out. I mean, it doesn't make it any less sad, you know, obviously, you know, people getting shipped off on boats and taken to a completely different land, and you know what I mean. But it definitely changes the story quite a bit. You know, knowing that these people were actually sold. Nobody came over there and said, you know what, everybody in this village, get on your knees and you coming with us. You know, or maybe not get on your knees, but you get what I mean. You know, we tying you up and you coming with us. It doesn't make it any less sad, obviously, but like I said, it changes the story drastically. You know, knowing that, and actually knowing the truth about the whole situation. And I would love to travel to one of these places in Africa and actually learn it from the actual people that live there. Like, what was the actual truth? You know what I mean? I want to hear it from their mouth. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm sure there's some crazy stories that could come out from a situation like that. So if there are any videos where somebody's traveled to Africa and sat down with one of these individuals and really dove into the truth behind the whole slave trade and everything like that, let me know. And if YouTube will let me upload the video, I definitely will. Because I think that would be a fascinating sit down. I think that would be really fascinating. But anyway, let's get back to it.
Ranging over an area larger than all of Europe. The total number of slaves exported from East Africa during the 19th century has been estimated to be at least 2 million. Despite the impression created by Roots, during the era of the massive slave trade from West Africa, a white man was more likely to catch malaria in Africa than to catch slaves himself. The average life expectancy of a white man in the interior of sub-Saharan Africa at that time was less than 1 year, by and large.
Damn! The average lifespan of a white man in Africa, in a specific part, in interior, but a year, shit. And I thought 70, you know, what's the lifespan these days? What, 78, 79? I think it's like upper 70s. I thought that was short. Just imagine, like, yo, I'm going over to this place. Johnny went over there. He was dead in 9 months. Thomas went there 6 months later. He was dead in another 10. Jack was there too. He was dead in 13 months. Like, what the hell is going on over there? Now I'm traveling over there. Am I going to be... Bro, what? That is wild. A year or less. Man.
By and large, men from Europe or the Western Hemisphere came to the coasts of Africa, bought their slaves, and left as soon as possible.
Hey, I respect it. Hey, yo, because I know if the shoe's on the other foot, obviously, you know, not the whole slave trade or whatever. That's horrible on both sides. Either way it go, you know what I mean? The person selling them and the person buying them. You know, simple and plain. I don't want anybody twisting my words because I know how the internet can get with stuff like that. Oh, what he was laughing at? No, not the damn case. Okay, but I know if the shoe was on the other foot and I was traveling somewhere where you know what I'm saying? Not, bro, like. I'm coming like barely where I need to go, and I'm getting the fuck up out of here. Like, come on, y'all, we gone. Like, I'm about to leave y'all. You taking too long. You taking too long. Fuck your piss. You can take a piss off the side of the boat. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like, nah. I don't want to die. Like, I'm out of here. That's crazy.
Even so, the death rates among the white crews of the ships carrying slaves to the Western Hemisphere were as high as the death rates among the slaves themselves. It was only much later, after quinine and other medical measures enabled Europeans to survive where there were tropical diseases, was it possible for them to invade Africa in force and establish empires there. But by then, the Atlantic slave trade had already been ended. During the era of that trade, Africa was largely ruled by Africans, who established the conditions under which slave sales took place. The crew of a slave ship was in no position to defy African rulers and their armies by going out across the land and capturing people willy-nilly. The stronger African peoples captured and enslaved the weaker peoples. The same pattern found over the centuries in Europe, Asia, the Western Hemisphere, and Polynesia. In Nyasaland.
Sitting here and learning about true history is just wild. You know, what he just said right there was very, very fascinating. I'll play it again.
And enslaved the weaker peoples. The same pattern found over the centuries in Europe, Asia, the Western Hemisphere, and Polynesia.
The same thing that happened in other places. The stronger people take over the weaker people and make them work for them. So not only was this, you know, an African thing, but this was happening in other places as well, which is just wild. Humans are ruthless. Ruthless, you know? It's crazy. It just makes you think and wonder and believe more. I don't know if you guys have ever seen The Purge. It's called The Purge. It makes The Purge all that more real, you know? Like, damn. Like, we would really be out here, like, going wild. If we let, you know, everything loose, like, we would just be like animals out here. Granted, we would need tools because, you know, you drop us off in a forest, you know, with lions, tigers, and bears, we're definitely losing 10 times out of 10 without, you know, man-made weapons and armor and things like that. But we're ruthless animals. At our core, it's crazy to think about.
Asia. Countries in Europe, Asia, the Western Hemisphere, and Polynesia. In Nyasaland, the Ngoni and Yao swaggered over and terrorized other tribes. In Uganda, the Baganda made life miserable for their neighbors. And the Nyoro and Hima of Anko enslaved Toro women and children. The Tutsi dominated the Hutu in Rwanda. The Maasai lorded it over the Kikuyu and Kamba. And the latter, in turn, held the Indorobo in a kind of serfdom. It was precisely the fact that Europeans, except for the Portuguese, seldom participated in the raids that captured and enslaved Africans that enabled most people in Europe and the Americas to remain oblivious to the traumatic experience that this was, with some Africans committing suicide to avoid capture and wives being whipped as they tried to cling to their husbands or children. Historian David Breon Davis pointed out that Europeans had little contact with the actual process of enslavement, and that, as late as 1721, the Royal African Company asked its agents to investigate the modes of enslavement in the interior. Europeans typically saw only the end results, enslaved people being offered for sale on the coast. It was much the same story in the Ottoman Empire, where those who bought slaves had no idea what these slaves had been through before.
Crazy. Crazy to learn about true history. And I see another video here that might be a very, very interesting video from the brother Thomas. Might have to check this one out. Holy. That might be a good one right there. And like I said, you know, I just want to state this. Hopefully these videos provide or spark conversation and not more segregation, you know. I feel like in today's world, if you speak about or you post or you agree with anything that deviates from the social norm or what's popularly accepted, you're almost shunned off, or you know, you're called a conspiracy theorist or whatever. And I think we've gotten farther and farther away from listening to each other and hearing the other side. And I think that's really, really important that like I said, even if you don't necessarily agree, that you at least hear the other side. Because maybe there's some type of information, some type of statistic, you know what I mean? Some kind of fact or video or a photo that they can provide to you that would change your opinion. How far away have we gotten from having discussions, you know, to where just the mere fact that I would even bring something up just totally disgusts you? It's kind of a sad place, honestly. And hopefully with these videos, and I'm sure this next video, I'm looking at the title of it and I got a feeling, you know, it's going to ruffle some feathers, but hopefully it brings us back closer together where we can just have discussions. We can have dialogue and discourse where it's not, you know, me versus you or whatever, you know what I mean? Like, we all on the same team. We all on the same damn team. All right? Y'all let me know what you thought about this one in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, and of course, hit the subscribe button before you go. Turn that subscribe button gray for me. That's down below. And hit that bell button. All right? Hit that bell button next to it. Turn on your notifications so you know when these videos dropping, of course. Last thing, go and join the new Discord server. It's the first link that's down below. All right? I'm out.